Hi everyone, I hope you are all keeping well and safe during these weeks and months. I'm sure some of you have been impacted by the virus, and on behalf of the trustees and all the staff at Caring Matters Now, we want to send you our very best wishes and love. Thank you to those who submitted questions for Professor Veronica Kinsler. Those questions have all been sent to her and she's now started to answer those questions for you. What we're planning on doing is posting a video on social media and on our website once a week where Professor Kinsler will answer a selection of questions that were submitted. And over the coming weeks, all of the questions that have been asked will be answered by her. And we just hope that this new and creative way of supporting our members will help during these times of uncertainty. Obviously, our CMN conference has been postponed, which is meant to take place in June. And that is really one of our main opportunities where you can speak to the research team and to Professor Veronica Kinsler. But obviously, with it being postponed, we wanted to give our members a new opportunity where you can connect with the research team and still have your questions answered. So we hope that this video now that we're about to share is helpful to you all. And should you have any questions about the work that we're doing, about the research that we fund, then please just drop us a line at info@caringmattersnow.co.uk. We want to try and support you guys in the best possible way over these coming weeks and months. Thanks very much.
Hello everybody, my name is Veronica Kinsler. I've been asked to answer some questions by Caring Matters Now, questions that you've been sending in on congenital melanocytic nevi, or CMN, and I'm very happy to do that. I'm thinking of you all during this lockdown period. I hope you're okay. I hope your families are okay. I know many of you will have been affected by the virus, and I'm really sorry. We send you all our love from my research team and clinical team. So lots of the questions were quite similar, which is really interesting because we may not be getting the right information out in certain areas. What I thought I would do just to begin with is cover a tiny little bit about the basics of what we know causes CMN, and then try and address some of the individual questions that way first, and then if there's anything else left we can cover those at the end. So first of all, the cause of CMN. So I'm speaking to you today, this is April 2020. If I had given you the answer to this 10 years ago, it would have been different, and it will almost certainly be different to some degree as well 10 years from now. So just understand that as science changes and we understand more, then these answers are not necessarily totally fixed. I will give you what we understand today, sort of best idea of what we know at the moment. So a mutation, it's important to know what a mutation is. That's a little change in DNA. DNA is what makes up people and plants and everything in the world. And mutations are little changes. They can be little spelling mistakes or little bits of DNA going missing, or sometimes extra DNA. And when the body is developing, so when a little tiny baby is developing, the body will make mistakes with the DNA. That happens to everybody all the time. We don't think that CMN is caused by anything that the mum or the dad did or didn't do, that it was just a chance mistake, because these things happen all the time when babies are developing, when cells are dividing and making new cells. So when those mistakes happen, those mutations happen, they quite often don't have any effect on us, or very little effect, but sometimes they're in very important genes. Now, if you look inside any part of somebody's body, you will find lots of these mistakes. And some years ago, many people had described lots of different little mutations in CMN. But we didn't know if any of them had actually caused the CMN or if they were just in the CMN. What we discovered leading up to a paper we published in 2013 was actually what we felt confident was the cause of CMN. And the reason for that is because we were able to find the same mutation, the same mistakes in either two different moles, two different CMN in the same person, or even as well in any problems in the brain in those people. And that told us that that mutation that we were looking at was likely to be the cause. The reason is that if you find the same mutation in more than one place in the same person, it is very unlikely to have happened by chance. It suggests instead that what you're looking at is cells that have all developed from one original cell, and that one original cell had a mutation that gave rise to the moles and to the brain problems. So what is known now? This is work from our lab, from people before us, from people after us. This is a collective effort. Lots of people have done wonderful work in this area. But I'll tell you what is known at the moment about the causes. There is a gene called NRAS, N-R-A-S, and we know now that that is the commonest cause of CMN of any size and any number. So it is just the commonest cause. Overall, in one big cohort that we looked at, it causes 67% of cases. So those numbers in medicine are always a little bit inaccurate, could be a bit less than that, could be a bit more than that. But in one big cohort, we found that it causes CMN in about 67% of cases. Other people had then described BRAF, B-R-A-F gene as being a cause. And in that same cohort, we found it was the cause for 7% of CMN. So it's much less common than the NRAS mutation, but it is definitely a cause. And in the other cases, in the sort of 25% or so of cases that are left, people have described, other labs, not us, have described single cases, so single individuals, people who have had different cause found. But in each of those so far, only one person has had that cause. So what we don't know is whether there's going to be lots and lots and lots of other possible causes, and each of them can happen in one or two people. Or more likely, those findings that have been made so far will turn out to be causes of CMN in more people. It's just at the moment we haven't quite got that far yet. Lots of people are doing work on this. What some people in the questions seem to be worried about is that any research that's going on for treatments is focusing only on NRAS, is only focusing on the common cause. That's not at all true. Because it's commoner, it's easier for us to get skin from people with NRAS mutation, so we work a lot on that particular gene. But it is not the only one that's being worked on, either by us or by other people. And in fact, anything that gets found about how to treat CMN should be possible to use it with some adaptation on the other genes. So don't worry, if you or your child do not have that commonest gene, doesn't mean that people have forgotten you or are not working on that. Okay. Now, there was also questions about exactly what research people are doing. So I can honestly answer, I only know about our lab, but in our lab we are using as many different approaches as we can. The reason for this is, number one, it's a tough problem. So it's not easy to solve. So we need to really do this properly scientifically and come at it from every single angle we can. Number two, there will almost certainly be more problems than we know about. At the moment, we know some of the problems that are going to be difficult for treating CMN. but there will be ones that we simply have not imagined yet. So for those two reasons, the way we are approaching it in our lab is to really attack it from all different angles, from a genetic treatment angle, from a drug treatment angle, and the same applies, I know, for other teams that are trying to look at this as well, that people are trying to use everything that might be available. Now, ultimately, it may be that we find treatments which are that work, that are effective, but that, for example, are not safe. That's possible. That's a real possibility that might happen. And we also might find treatments which are safe, but which don't work very well. So we are having to do all these different approaches at the moment so that we can find something that works and is safe. People have asked, what are the chances of finding a treatment? Absolutely, I think there is a high chance of finding a treatment. If I didn't, I wouldn't be doing it. And people wouldn't be giving me money. So at the moment we are funded, of course, by Caring Matters Now, which is fantastic, but we are also funded by some much bigger charities and research bodies. It's always difficult to get that money, but we have been funded by them, and that will give at least you some idea that people in general, scientists in general, think that this is something that perhaps we could manage. It is not straightforward though, and I will absolutely not guarantee that we can find treatments for CMN. But I don't see why we can't improve things, that we might be able to find better treatments for melanoma. That a lot of people are working on that, which is really helpful. And also potentially treatments for CMN. People have asked again, what do we see as a treatment for CMN? What do we mean by treating CMN? Do we mean we would make it lighter or less hairy? Or do we mean it would go away? Again, absolutely honestly, any of those things would be great. So at the moment, we really have nothing very effective for people who have large numbers or very big ones. There is very little that is actually very effective for that. So we are keen on any of those angles. Obviously, ultimately, we would love for it to be something that we could actually make it go away. But if we can make it lighter, if we can make it calmer, if we can make it less itchy for some people, if we can make the hair growth less, if we can stop new nevi developing after birth, if we can reduce the chance of getting melanoma, any of those things, the chance of getting lumps and bumps, we would be happy. So we are considering many of those things as we go. But obviously, we are trying to do this in the most intelligent way possible, and we are ultimately aiming to try and really change the lives of people with CMN if possible. We can't guarantee. So, that's the first bit. I will go back and read more of your questions now and come back and answer things on another day. I hope that's helpful. It should help to address some of the questions. And I really do wish you all the best and send all our love from here in London to all of you around the world who are currently in lockdown. Take care. Bye then. Bye.